Alright, so I like to just lay it down like this because it likes to sit this way. Go ahead and take a punch. You're going to pop this pin out right here that holds the hammer in and your cam for your 2-round burst. Pull that out, set that off to the side. Now your hammer will come out. Your 2-round burst cam is on this side here along with a bushing. And then there's a little spring here and a detent. And it only fits in here one way. There's a flat side to it, so it only fits in there one way. Go ahead and set that off to the side. Next will be the next pin right here. Push that out. Pull the pin out. Then comes your full auto sear. This one here. And then the sears for the 2-round burst. There's one there and one there. Alright, mine are marked. Let me see. So if you're looking at the trigger box here like so, mine has a marking number 12 on this one here, which goes on this side, and this one has a marking number 13, which goes on this side inside of the trigger box. Alright, we'll go ahead and set those off to the side. Now let's take apart, let's take out the trigger here. Actually, there's going to be a pin here holding the return spring. Just grab a needle nose pliers and then just kind of pull that out. Same with the other side. Let me show you guys what I'm doing. So I'm just grabbing it, pushing the pin up, and then pulling the pin out. Alright, now you're going to take a flathead screwdriver. One of the springs came out. You're going to unscrew the other end where the spring hooks up to, and that screws into the trigger. Just going to unscrew that. And out comes your spring too. Same with the other side. Set that off to the side. Alright, now you're going to push out 2 pins here. Pin there and a pin there. This is what holds the trigger in. Can't get that other pin out, so I'm going to knock it out. Give it a little help there with a hammer. Alright, once you get those 2 pins out, you can lift the trigger up, and then these 2 pieces here slide out. And there's one on the other side as well. These here are identical pieces, as you can see. So it doesn't matter which side they go on. Once you get that out, now you can push the pin that's connecting the trigger bar to the trigger itself. Kind of push that out of the way. There you go. As you can see, I didn't push the pin all the way out, just far enough to let it go. Release it from the trigger bar. Alright. And trigger bar spring here. I just kind of pulled it back, didn't take it all the way off. Now I'm going to push the pin out. And that's your safety cam here, or whatever you want to call it, that just fell out. Alright, now we're going to push that out. Once you push that out, the trigger bar can be removed. I don't know if you can see the heat marks in here where I heated it up right here, from here to here. But basically, when I pulled that trigger and it was I didn't release that full auto sear, it bent the front of this downward. So this part here, from here to here, bent this way in that direction. So I had to heat this up, bend it back, and then now that 2-round burst problem that I was having, that it would shoot upon releasing the trigger after a 2-round cycle, that wouldn't correct that problem, and that was the failure here. This is made out of steel, but as you can see here in the front, it's very thin right here, and all this here torque back here and a pivot point here, it's gonna bend that. So again, don't pull the trigger while you have the upper and lower apart for anything, unless you, like I said, release that full auto sear to release the hammer, and then you could pull it to release the hammer. Alright, and then there's 2 pieces inside of here, and then there's your selector cam in there. Alright, so let me show you guys how to reinstall. Go ahead and drop those 2 pieces back in. Set the hammer in place. Grab your pin. I kind of like to line everything up with a punch. Just helps out. Sometimes it helps out. A lot of pieces in here you gotta get lined up. Alright. That pin is in. And just put this back in there for now so I don't have to deal with it later. Alright. Next is the full auto sear, or the 2-round burst sears. See how it's oriented? On one side here it's got like a little divot. That's where the detent pin from the top rests against. So we're looking at it upside down here. That's going to drop in, and there's a little peg here on this side, and that goes towards the inside. And on one side of the trigger bar there. And the other one has a little peg there that goes on the inside towards the trigger bar. Alright. Now that's set up. Don't forget your full auto sear here. Drop that in. Again, I'm going to use my pin or my punch here to kind of just line everything up. That's how it should look in there. And then your hammer can be dropped in. The hammer was polished here, so was the trigger bar. It's a nice clean break now, nice smooth action, a very short break, which I like, because I don't know if you guys noticed the trigger pull on the Kriss Vector here. It's a little bit harder than your normal airsoft gun, so I like that very much. Let me go ahead and put the safety cam in there. Slide that back. This will only fit in there one way. On one side here, as you can see, it's not completely round. It has this little part here that sticks out, while the other side is completely round. On one side here, it has that cutout. So go ahead and drop this in. Like I said, this will only fit in one way. And then your trigger spring kind of just clips over it, like so. Alright, now onto the trigger. Go ahead and install the trigger there. Slide over the bar and then push that pin that you partially pushed out earlier. Push that back in. And center it in there. Alright, that's in. Like I said, these two pieces here, they're identical. So you have a short opening here in the back and then a long opening here in the back. The round part goes in the short and this rectangle part goes into the long, like so. Same on both sides. Once you get those in, go ahead and put your pins in. There's the other one. There it is. Set those pins in there. Okay, now for the two screws that hold the return springs in there, I don't know if you guys can see here. Oh, there we go. The front pins here, they're kind of offset. They're not in line with each other. They're offset. So one side is going to be towards the front here, and then this one here is going to be towards the back. Now there's going to be two holes here. So obviously the one here that's closer to the front of the trigger box, you would screw that hole in from this side. And then this one here would screw in the rear hole on that side. Okay, let's go ahead and start these. Now you are screwing these screws into a plastic trigger, okay, so just screw these in until it stops, and I'd say like maybe a 1/16 of a turn or something more. You don't want to strip it out. Now that you got that in, I like to take a little pick here that's hooked at the end. Go ahead and drop one end of the spring over the screw, like so. Then you take your front pin, kind of just start it in the hole there. With the hooked end of your pick or paper clip or whatever you want to use, pull the spring forward and then just push your pin through, and that's that. Do the other side here. Alright, now it's ready for assembly. Alright, now the springs that go here on top in the detents, one of them is shorter than the other two. The two longer ones are going to go in these, and then the other one here is for the full auto sear. As you can see, it is shorter. So that's where this one goes, okay? Alright, now I'm going to show you guys how to put this back in. So go ahead and slide that in. I keep this end down a little bit so the springs don't get caught on anything. Push it all the way back, and then you can push it up. Then I go ahead and start this screw here in the front to hold the springs in. We'll drop the other two in. Alright, got those in. Then we could put our selector levers on. And where is my Allen wrench? I try to be organized here, but sometimes I'm not. Go ahead and tighten those down. Go ahead and put the other side on. Tighten those screws down. Alright, once those are in, go ahead and grab your ejection port here or what have you. Go and drop that in. And then put the two screws in on that side. And again, these here screws don't have to be tightened in too tight. Just nice and snug because they are screwing into plastic. Alright, so that's together. Let's go ahead and grab our top rail, slide that on. Oh, one thing I did want to show you guys. I got this sling mount here. It clamps onto the rail via this screw here and has an opening in there. That opening's too small for like an MS2 or MS3 or even a HK style clash hook. So I went and braided this here piece of paracord on here so I could attach my sling to that. I don't know, I like it. Actually, I'm right-handed, so slinging it to this here, the pivot pin here, was kind of awkward, but I got used to it. But yeah, this is much better here. The gun sits there, you know, nicely up against you while you have it slung. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and put these two screws in. Oh, actually, we're going to put this in. So again, fish your tail switch through there on the side if you have a light. Alright. And then start your screws. And remember that pin that you punched out earlier for the rail? Go ahead and put that back in now. Here's my punch. There it is. Alright, that's there. Go ahead and put your front sight back on. Now, like I was saying earlier, when this is the hammer's back here, don't pull this trigger unless you push that there to release the hammer. Then you can pull the trigger. Alright? Or you will bend that trigger bar and you will have problems on 2-round burst. go ahead and slide our bolt in. I did polish the bolt here, polished the I don't know, the recoil buffer unit here, I guess you could call it, so everything runs nice and smooth. Go ahead and reassemble that. I'm going to put one pin in it to hold it in. And as I show you guys in another video there, if you guys want this done to yours, go ahead and hit me up. This is 14mm counterclockwise threads now, as you can see there. This is the SOCOM, or not the SOCOM, but the Mad Bull Whisper silencer. It has 45 ACP markings on it, which is why I picked that. Yeah, shitty ass light, but whatever. It's basically just on there for looks. Go ahead and lock this down for now so I can dry fire this. Alright, well there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or comments, post them down below. And check out my video for that free giveaway of the M&P pistol, alright? And go on and check out the links to a couple of the family members' YouTube channels, Airsoft Senshi and Maximus MJG. Go and check their channels out. Alright, thanks for watching. Murder.